Hey everybody, this is Lisa from AKS Knits and Crochets. Today I am doing a flip through of Vogue Knitting Spring Summer 2022. I think it's a good one. So let's get started. All right, I'm just going to pop myself out of the picture. So like I said, this is Vogue Knitting Spring Summer 2022. There we go. So when I went through the magazine, I saw that there were basically 3 themes to the whole collection. We have color, texture, and asymmetry going on in this issue. And I thought they just did wonderful expressions of all 3 themes. So we're going to start with color. This is Mossy Glen. It's a shawl by Kim McBrien Evans. Now you might have heard her name before. She's doing some interesting things with creating real bodies, or I don't want to say real, but I want to say more non-model bodies sizing chart. Interesting stuff. You can check out an article where she talked about it on, let me see, what was it? Mason Dixon, Modern Daily Knitting. There you go. So it's a striped asymmetric shawl and it's shaped with increases in short rows. Lots of fun. It's garter stitch based, so while there's a lot of interesting color play going on, it's not like super serious, have to concentrate hard knitting. It is about 70 inches long across the top edge and 11 inches wide. And they did it in a sport weight wool that I don't know this company. It's called Indigo Dragon. It's ROU Sport. 328 yards to 100 grams. It's called Mossy Glen. Now, this is Bayview by Sylvia Watts Cherry. Intarsia, I've been seeing it all over this season. This is an all-over Intarsia sweater. The design continues to the back. And I think it screams summer. This is a summer day looking over the water. It's knit from the bottom up in pieces. And the sizing goes from a 36 bust to a 68 bust. I do have to say for this issue, every single pattern is size inclusive. So they will typically go somewhere from a 34 to I think the biggest one I saw was a 72 inch, but I think that might have been the hip. But the busts tend to go somewhere in the 68 region. And the yarn they used for this one was Debbie Bliss Rialto. It's 100% merino wool, 115 yards to 50 grams. But I am not necessarily a person that seeks out the original yarn. So if you want to substitute, look for a DK that gives you about the same yardage to the same weight. That's your quick and dirty yarn substitution tip. The next piece is by K Facet. It's called Starlight. And I love the kind of stacked, almost tessellated stars on this sweater. The sizing on it is 39 inches in the bust to 72 inches in the bust. And they use Rowan hand knit cotton. It's a worsted weight cotton, 92 yards to 50 grams. And it's kind of a loose fitting drop shoulder pullover. The next piece is called Subdivision by Megan Gonzalez. Now this looks like it's Intarsia, but it's actually not. They did a very clever thing. It is knit from the bottom up in pieces. And the busts go from 32 inches to 64 inches. And they use Spud and Chloe sweater. It's about 55% wool, 45% cotton, 160 yards to 100 grams. And I am actually very curious about these wool and cotton blends. I will be using one before the summer is out. Next up, we are going into asymmetry. That is the next theme that I saw in the patterns in the summer Vogue. The first pattern. Now, I looked at asymmetry in all of its variations. So some of the patterns are very asymmetric and some just have a little bit or one element that's asymmetric. So in this case, this is Egret by Jennifer Kent. It's just a high-low hem. It's a really simple oversized V-neck top with a lacy cable pattern. And that high-low hem can be just the way you kind of dabble in asymmetry. Our next piece is Dora, and it's by Alice Chang. And this neckline caught my interest immediately. I think it was a really clever use of asymmetry because you have the neck placket on that V-neck. That's one side is much wider than the other, and the rest is just a simple tee that I think can take you anywhere in the summer. The bust sizes are 34 inches to 66 inches, and it's done in Circulo Charme. It's a sport weight yarn that is 433 yards to 150 grams. Our next piece is Latham by Jennifer Owens. It's another very simple 3/4 sleeve tee with an asymmetric hem. So it's a little bit longer in the back. But look at that all over lace pattern. It's got a little bit of cable, a little bit of lace. Lovely. And this one is actually done in Lion Brand Cotton Ease, which is a 60% cotton, 40% acrylic, 185 yards to 100 grams. And the designer's name is Jennifer Owens. And our final piece, it's called Corrales, and it is designed by Way Wilkins. And as you can see, you have an asymmetric hem, asymmetric shoulder line. It's the most asymmetric piece in the book. The bust measurements go from 34 inches to 66 inches. And it's done in Cascade Canada, which is a 70% cotton, 30% superwash merino. And this yarn had an interesting construction to it too. It's one of the blown yarns. So it's built on a chain net cotton tube with the merino yarn, with the merino fiber blown into that. So interesting yarn. I've used a yarn like that before. It knits up beautifully. The next piece. Well, now we're moving into the third kind of theme that went on in this issue. And then everything in the issue is really also all about texture. So our first textured piece is by Nora Gone. It's called Top Sail. It's a water bottle holder. And the texture in this case is created by cables. It's done in Pearl Soho Blackbird linen. It's a DK yarn, 160 yards to 100 grams. So if you ever wanted to try out a Nora Gone pattern, because usually she does amazing intricate cable designs, here's a place to put a toe in the water and just try it out and see what one of her patterns is like without committing to, a multi-cable full-on sweater design. This is another t-shirt. It's a loose-fitting collared tee with slip stitch panels. Now, within the texture designs, I saw that there was slip stitch patterns going on, like this one. This is called Verdan by Rachel Brockman. The busts go from 37 inches to 70 inches. It's done from the bottom up and pieced. And it's done in Universal Yarn Magnolia, which is a fingering weight yarn that's 95% modal and 5% cashmere. Now, I am really interested in these new fibers. I just bought some yarn myself that's in a tencel, and tencel is another similar type of fiber to modal that's very comfortable for the summer. And that little bit of cashmere must make it feel very luxurious. The next piece is Tularosa. It's a close-fitting cap sleeve pullover in a chevron pattern, and it's done from the bottom up and pieced. But I kind of like this one because although there's some patterning going on, it's not really in your face. It's very subtle, very clean and crisp and modern looking, like that. The bust measurements are from a 33-inch bust to a 65-inch bust. This is a pattern by Deborah Newton, and they did it, the sample, in Northern Light Fiber Seaside. It's a 50% cotton, 50% wool. It's Supima cotton and merino wool. So I imagine it is very soft. And I can see where these cotton wool blends would be really nice for the early spring, because at least where I am, early spring can still be quite cold, but it's not as like freezing cold as a winter. So a heavy winter sweater would be too much most of the time, but something that mitigates for the slightly warmer temperatures would be perfect. So I'm gonna have to get me some of this wool and cotton blend just to try it out. The next piece is a twofer. So this is the Artemisia top and shorts. It's a loose-fitting crop slip stitch rib pullover. So you've got these vertical lines working on it. Plus you have the slip stitches just giving you more texture. The shorts, you also make a waist tie. And both pieces are by Sana Mard Kasman. Now, on the top, the sizing goes from 36¼ inches in the bust to 67¼ inches. And it's done, both pieces are done in Haiku Kobasi DK. I love that yarn. Absolutely love it. It's bouncy, springy, and it is a blend of cotton, bamboo, silk, and elastic. It comes in 50-gram hanks, and there are 140 yards to a hank. The measurements on the shorts, so you get a hip measurement. The hips go from 36¼ to 74¼ And like I said, done in Kobasi, which is just a delicious yarn for summer. So this is Rosie, or Rosie maybe? I'm going to say Rosie, 2 S's. It's a loose-fitting drop shoulder pullover worked in a ridge and eyelet pattern. So once again, you almost want to reach out and touch these pieces. It's also designed by Wade Wilkins, and the bust measurements go from 33 inches to 65 inches. And it's done in Pearl Soho Santolina, which is a cotton, bamboo, and hemp fingering weight yarn. It's 328 yards to 100 grams. Next up, we have Wingate. I particularly like the all over texture of this piece. I like how the V-neck has those lines, those vertical lines that play against that all over background pattern. It's almost like a piece of music. It's loose fitting, boxy shaped pullover with a deep V-neck. And the bust measurements go from 35 inches to 67 inches. And it's designed by Jacqueline Van Dillen. And it's done in Barocco zinnia. It's a cotton and nylon blend. It's a DK weight, and you get 125 yards to 50 grams. Really sweet. Next up, we have Folsom. It's an all-over lace kind of piece. It's classic fitting, top down. It's a pullover with eyelets and ribbed raglans. And the design is by Martha Wissing. The bust measurements go from 34 inches to 66 inches. And it was done in Fairmont Fibers Serena. It's a baby alpaca and Pima cotton. Like I said, from me, that's not a summer yarn, but that's something I look at for fall, for real. When the temperature starts to change, what we get around here is that it might be quite warm during the day, but in the early morning, it's cold. And as soon as the sun goes down, it turns cold again. So something like this would be perfect for that. This one is actually worked from the top down. Most of the other pieces will work bottom up. Next up, we have Forsyth. Now, I really like this one because I am all about just having a little something as a cover-up. I could see this as a beach cover-up. I have many years under my belt of working in over air-conditioned buildings in the summer, and sometimes you just need something, or otherwise you freeze all day. So this is actually knit flat, all in one piece, so there's very little finishing work. And it is kind of an eyelet mesh, but once again, it's just fully textured over the whole surface. The bust measurements are from 49 to 83 because it's meant to be oversized. So you want to pick your size carefully to give you just the right amount of ease for you, because you could go with as much or as little ease as you want in this piece. Its designer is Gabrielle Koizumi, and it's done in Ancient Arts fiber Nettle Soft DK. So it's a wool and nettle blend. Now, nettle is one of those new, it's not a new plant, but it's a new fiber, at least to me, and it's a renewable fiber because nettle just grows. You have 263 yards to 100 grams, and generally speaking, Ancient Arts yarns are delicious. Finally, we have Ariel. It's a classic fitting cable and eyelet cardigan with pockets. The designer is Melissa Leitman, and it's done in Plymouth Pima Merino. It's a worsted weight cotton and merino and Donegal yarn. And you get 109 yards to 50 grams. Like I said, those times when you just need that little something to throw over your t-shirt like she's wearing it here, I think this would be something really wonderful. So I think for the most part, these things have in common that they're generally a relaxed fit, generally a good bit of ease, relaxed fit to oversized. And I did want to just hop in right quick with what the fits they talk about. When they talk about a relaxed fit or a loose fit, loose and relaxed pretty much mean the same thing, by the way, to oversize or classic fitting. So a classic fit means that you will have somewhere between 2 to 4 inches of positive ease, which means the garment would measure 2 to 4 inches larger than your body measurement. A relaxed fit or loose fit would be anywhere from 4 to 6 inches of positive ease. Once again, it's bigger than your body measurement. So relaxed would probably lean towards the 4 inches, and loose would lean towards the 6 inches. And something that's oversized would be anything more than 6 inches of positive ease. So anything that's 6 inches bigger than your body size or more, because there are patterns with 8, 10, 12 inches of positive ease. What did you guys think? I like this issue. I could see a couple of things, I don't know, somehow following me home. And one thing I did have to tell you guys, this magazine definitely inspired my holiday sweater. As a matter of fact, let me show you. I'm actually going to be working a pattern from Sylvia Watch Cherry. And I don't know if you can see it from this tiny picture in the center of the magazine, but I will be creating that sweater as my holiday sweater. It's called Aquamiri, and it's influenced by traditional Nigerian weaving. And you know what? Although in this magazine I'm here for the pictures, you definitely want to check out the articles. There's some good ones in here. So if you do want a copy of this magazine, I have several copies in my shop. I will put a link to the magazine that will take you to my shop, and you can get it there. Actually, it's a good one, I think. And I'm definitely going to be exploring some of these wool and cotton options, because I really actually like this one, and I think this would be a great little transitional weather piece to just have to toss on, because it gets cool here, especially in the evenings. But when we're transitioning seasons, it's not that cold. And I also liked very much the asymmetry of this neckline. I think that is just awesome. I like pieces that have just that little bit of difference, just that little unusual thing, and I think that's it. So let me know if you saw something that you might like to make. And like I said, this is the Vogue Spring Summer 2022 issue. You see, I have my bookmarks already in there. Anyway, thank you so much for checking this magazine out with me. Let me know in the comments if you saw anything that might inspire your summer knitting. Have a great day. Bye-bye.